That was just the framework, but there were several things that were agreed upon outside of it that Iran specifically said that they didn't want to do. But yeah, it was never intended to go through. It was a placeholder to actually get the strait opened up and to get some ships through it, which it was successful with that intended purpose.
Donald Trump's objective is to establish an agreement like the JCPOA because he wants to throw his own name on it. Okay, that is Donald Trump's objective.
Why he's walking
and
away
I promise
from the
you, we are
MOU
going
and
to have
saying all
conditions
war?
that will yield just like that. Do you support Trump?
Oh yeah, dude, he's great.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
I really like what he's doing within the Middle East. I think we're going to get a good outcome of this when it's all said and done. Love the Abraham Accords. Love his tough on Iran approach.
So you like him starting a war with Iran after claiming no new wars?
Well, no new factless wars, right? I think they kind of clarified what they specifically meant, and I think he was always stating that he intended to make sure that Iran didn't get a nuclear weapon. And just because you make a statement of no new wars and it gets taken out of context by voters doesn't mean that you don't do the right thing when you're in power.
Taken out of context by voters, he said no new wars himself. But if you want to say he wants to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon, then how do you feel about the fact that he legitimately got them closer to a nuclear weapon? How do you feel about
nation building?
How do you feel about the fact that Trump got them closer to a nuclear weapon?
He got them closer to a nuclear weapon?
Yes.
How
by
so?
pulling out of the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal that capped their level of enrichment of uranium at 3.67%. They enriched their uranium then after that point up to, I don't know why you're cutting me off, up to 60%, which is closer to the 90% required in order to weaponize it. Do you agree that 60% is closer to 90% than 3.67%?
I would say so, but like that's just the facilities that you mentioned, right? Like Natanz, like at Fahan's, Fordo. So I'm just curious, like, did they actually comply with actually letting them search immediately with those facilities? Did they have other facilities? Was there reports of, uranium particles that came from other facilities? Like, did that kind of stuff happen during the enrichment? Did they ever take down cameras, monitoring capabilities?
Nothing that Trump signed off on when it was happening on the deal. And he cited the reason why he left the deal. He cited the reason not as any of those violations as to why he left the deal. He cited specifically that he didn't like that they were able to build up money and that they would just inevitably be able to buy it in the very first place. But funny enough, he was willing to accept a deal that would mean that the Gulf states would fund Iran up to $300 billion for reconstruction. So if based on his own logic, wouldn't they just be able to buy nukes at that point?
They could just buy the nukes.
They could just buy the nukes. That's what he claimed. I'm not claiming that. That's what he claimed.
Who would sell them the nukes?
Trump said like North Korea.
Yeah, where did he say specifically? You made a claim that he said
this was like on the campaign trail. He said this at a rally.
Where can you show me that? And you made the claim. I'd like to see where that's coming from.
Okay. Iran will just buy nukes. Give me a bit. It might take a minute to find it. Do you want to talk about something while I get it?
Well, sure. Like you mentioned the $300 billion with the MOU. I think it's interesting that you said that this would give them a pathway to do it. Who would actually control the disbursement of those funds?
Wait, say that one more time.
So you mentioned the $300 billion that was in the MOU that has failed, that it's not going through. I'm just curious.
I said it failed. But I was saying that Trump was willing to accept the deal. That's what I was saying.
Who would manage the disbursement of the $300 billion fund?
You're saying that the U.S. would manage it?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the point? You understand that there was no basis for regulating how that they were going to inevitably use it. It never said any type of condition like that within the agreement.
Well, yeah. Well, you're looking at the MOU as if it was like the official document. That was just the framework. But there were several things that were agreed upon outside of it that Iran specifically said that they didn't want to do. But yes.
So it wasn't agreed upon because Iran said that they didn't want to do it.
Does have it correct. The U.S. Treasury specifically.
Wait. You said it was agreed upon, but then Iran didn't want to do it. How is that agreed upon then?
No, that's not what I said. I think you just misheard what I said.
Okay. So what did you say it said?
What I specifically said was that the framework is the MOU. There were deals, there were side conversations that weren't included in the MOU that was released to the public, that specifically Iran's negotiators negotiated with our side, and there were agreements that have not been made public. That would be the difference. This isn't a final agreement. This is just to get us through the 60 days and provide a framework for how things are going to
Yeah,
go.
so, yeah. So the
It's to
basis
set the
of for what I was
stage.
saying is that he was willing to agree upon those terms. There was never an agreement finalized because it fell through.
What did the U.S. Treasury Department say when in relation to it? You know what? You're looking for a source. I'll go grab mine for you since I'm making a claim. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, give me 1 second. It is taking a minute to find this because I'm getting a bunch of the stuff from 2026, which
It's going to
is
take you a long time to find
because
it. I'll be right
this
back.
is
Hold on.
from 2016, so I need a minute. I've like explicitly heard this myself. So yes, here we are. I think this could be it. Give me 1 second. This might be it. I'm not quite sure. No, wait. I don't think this is it. This does not seem like it. Give me 1 sec. Oh, it's just giving me all stuff from 2026. Oh my God. This is a little bit unfortunate to do on the stream because we're both trying to look stuff up. Give me a second. I think this might include it in a Ballotpedia article. Give me one. I have to Control F on the screen. Sorry, everyone. I'm trying to find the source right now.
Yeah, so the U.S. Treasury Department did actually clarify the MOU. I'm trying to find it directly from their website. Will you accept? What would you accept as something to validate my claim?
Just tell me what you're gonna send, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on it after. I think it would be in this PBS article. Let's start there on nuclear. I don't really care about upholding this claim too much. I literally know I've heard this before. I don't care if I can't find it right now. It's gonna take me a little bit long to find on the stream. But I know for certain that he said this. I swear I've heard this. I've heard this. I just need a little bit of time to find. Wait, hold on. I might have one right here. Give Iran a bomb. It transferred. Oh, here we go. I found it. I found it.
Center
You
DC
can find
has a
it from
good
the
framework
bulletin
of what
here. Look, it says Trump said he would tear up the Iran nuclear deal. Now what? It explains specifically how do something with respect to North Korea. He noted that the JCPOA failed to put pressure to do something with respect to North Korea, and that they would be able to. You can look into that if you'd like. It speaks about like
So
what he
purchase
said
nuclear
in
weapons from North
2016.
Korea. So I will concede that point to you in the sense that, yeah, North Korea would probably be the only crazy government that would be willing to do it. However, I would say that they would probably get a lot of interference from China and Russia that would not want to see a nuclear Iran.
Okay,
And that's just a
it's not
reality.
too
I don't think any
monumental
of
of a
the big
point.
countries,
The
I think we
point
could,
was really just that Trump is claiming that like this type of money, right, being given to Iran,
yeah.
it can't be useful, right,
So
or effective to give to them because it would be
again,
more negatively impactful in the long run. And
so
then he
this
was
is why what
willing
I was
to
bringing
agree
to
to
you as a
terms
source
that
is
would then
important.
establish that. So it seems like
Yeah.
a bit of a hypocritical standpoint there, where he's applying
So
a double
Parker,
standard to like the agreement and the negotiation that existed for Obama, but not to like his own agreement that he was willing to accept the same conditions.
so Parker, this is the problem with what you're stating, right? The 300
You're cutting out.
so the 300 billion, as according to the US Treasury Department, it would be controlled by them. They had to go through the waivers. It would be like going to the SBA, getting a loan or a line of credit, for example, from a bank to buy a piece of property, and then you have to get the bank to approve each release of the line of credit for construction funds. It's the same thing
So
here. The 300
wait, are
billion
you
would be
saying it
to
would be
rebuild
U.S. funds?
infrastructure. No, these would not be US funds. This would be coming from private investors, Gulf states, Asia, and other people. This would not be coming from the United States or its taxpayers.
But what conditions
And the
would we
US
have to
Treasury Department
control how the money
specifically
is used
clarified
once we
that.
give it to them?
We're the ones that would be administering it. We would be in charge of the fund. The US Treasury
I
Department
understand.
came out and clarified this.
Yeah, but once we give it to them, how do we regulate how they use it?
Holy shit. There's no way that you're not understanding what I'm saying. Okay, so let me just, I'm going to say it very slowly. And again, if you listen to my example, when you are a bank, right, and you give a loan to somebody that's trying to do construction, and it's a line of credit for construction, they approve each transaction. They get the invoice. You send that in to your banker, and you say, hey, here's my invoice for this part of the construction on this building. And then the banker says, okay, perfect. We'll go ahead and release that amount of funds to you. But they're not releasing it directly to them. They'd be releasing it to the construction company. They'd be releasing it to however it may be. So the reality is they get to control and dictate how those funds are utilized. Not to mention, like when it comes to the other aspects of the agreement with the funds that were unfrozen from sanctions, no, they would not be just getting that money directly. They would be getting that money to use on goods and services from within the United States that we can control, like medical supplies, like food and aid, that kind of stuff. So yes, there would be some good control mechanisms in place to do it, but the MOU itself was built to fail from the get-go, and that's the part that I think everybody is missing here. It was never intended to go through. It was a placeholder to actually get the strait opened up and to get some ships through it, which it was successful with that intended purpose.
How about this? Do we have control over how they're using for unfrozen assets that we were willing to give them back?
I just explained that to you. Literally just explained that to you.
Sorry, say that one more time. I must have not heard it.
Yeah, so they'd be using that on goods and services from the United States. They wouldn't be able to use any of that money on sanctioned items that they are not allowed to have. So like weapons, they wouldn't be able to use it on. They wouldn't be able to send it to proxies. They could use that on goods and services coming from in the United States based off the framework of the MOU.
Okay. So you're saying all that money would go to the United States and that there would be no basis for them to use it in any other way, and that these conditions were established within the agreement that was preliminarily established by the United States and Iran, which, by the way, fell through.
Goods. Yeah, I already said that it fell through, that it was built to fail. I said that pretty clearly, I think.
Oh, okay. Wait,
I don't know if you're just not listening to things that I'm saying.
No. Hold up. I think that's an interesting standpoint there. So you think that the agreement was never meant to be actually accepted in the first place. So what agreement do you think will be able to be established by the Trump administration?
There's not going to be an agreement. It's just moving pieces on the board and giving us time to actually counter what they're doing. The drones they're having, identifying targets that they can take out, understand where the launchers are.
Why do we need time to be able to take out them? I thought we had already done that, apparently, according to Trump.
It's not to take them out. We've taken out a significant portion of their launchers. Somewhere between 60 and 70% of their launchers have been taken out so far during this conflict. But it's cutting off supply lines. It's actually dealing with the launchers, figuring out where the drones are at. They have underground cities that they actually keep and house these things at, with multiple different entrances. These are very large, complex areas that they have that are underground. They actually call them underground missile cities and drone cities because they're massive. What we did take out was their ability to actually replenish. So we took out the steel manufacturing plants, all of the stuff released by CENTCOM on the actual targeting packages that we've hit. They've provided some great detail on this. So if you want to go read that, you can look at CENTCOM specifically and their statements on targets that we've hit from them, and that will actually back up everything that I'm saying to you right now. You can't just sit there and say that, oh, we're going to go ahead and just take out a country and not have to adjust. It is a fluid situation. It's rapidly evolving. So as they rear their heads, I'm asking you,
like, what are the objectives from the war?
What are the objectives?
Yeah, what are the objectives? You said that this was just a temporary thing, that Trump's not trying to actually get
to ensure that they don't.
What are his long-term objectives from the war with Iran then?
Nuclear weapons, I would say, would be the biggest one.
So making he can't sure prevent that they don't have the
threat. I'm sorry, I was still in the middle of giving you an answer. Do you want me to answer all of the objectives, or do you want me to answer this new question that you've now thrown at me, Parker?
Why are you acting like it's so fucking out of the ordinary to like answer that question?
To ask a question in the middle of somebody answering another question?
Yes. Right.
Yeah, that's like, you understand that out of the
you made a point, and I'm trying to get you to extrapolate on that point while simultaneously answering the other question. I don't think that's that complicated.
Sure. Ask your question again.
You don't remember it?
No, I don't, because I was extrapolating that this conversation is weird when it's
answer all the things you'd want, and then I'll ask all my questions at the end. It's fine. I'll write it down.
Sure. Yeah. So when it comes to the actual objectives that we were trying to accomplish, right, we want to make sure that there is no threat to the Gulf states, that the Strait of Hormuz is open up, that they cannot affect international trade. We wanted to deal with their Navy, with their Air Force. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. They have some Mosquito Fleet boats that they have been utilizing that are rapidly have been getting taken out. When it comes to the nuclear capability, that is monitored. We are striking those facilities. We wanted to deplenish their supply. I think we have accomplished that goal substantially, but I think we probably, like, an unlisted objective is actually get them to a point where the people can actually take their country back from the IRGC.
Okay, so you want regime change?
I would love to see a regime change there. I think the Iranian people would like to see a regime change there.
No, but is that one of the objectives of the war? Because I was asking what the objectives are. No,
that's not a public objective.
Okay, so then why did you bring it up within the objectives? I'm confused.
I was very precise with my language there when I brought it up. I'd said an unwritten and unpublicly facing objective, I would say, would probably be to get it to the point where it could be a regime change.
Okay, also stated I'll go and I'll address the other ones because regime change you're saying is not something that you can achieve, right?
No, what I'm saying is that regime change actually has to come from the people, and I think that's something that this administration has gotten right, specifically with Venezuela, getting it to a point where you deal with the problem.
There hasn't been regime change with Venezuela.
That's the point, but it gets it to a point. It labels the you got to have a better attention span than this, buddy. The regime change that could come down the road, and the actual shift in politics could actually happen. The groundwork has been laid with Venezuela, with removing Maduro, instead of going and putting in another politician that we have plucked out and decided to put in there that could be viewed as a puppet that would lead to another regime change. Or
so you think the vice president is a puppet? Is that what you're trying to argue?
There's no way that you extrapolated that from what I just said.
So wait, so the person who's in control in terms of Venezuela, we haven't seen regime change. We haven't seen a difference in the government. We don't have any more control over it than the existing prior government.
You're clearly not tracking what I'm saying in this conversation. So
you were trying to impose this idea that we're going to get regime change like we did with Venezuela. Right, or we're going to have control like we did with Venezuela. It's not going to be
instantaneous. The point is that we didn't put somebody in there.
So
we didn't install. I'm trying to answer you. We're not installing somebody that could be viewed as a puppet that would stir up this whole thing. Well, oh, they answer to America, and America is really controlling the outcome of our society and our goods and services and all these different things through this leader that they could focus their energy against. It needs to come from the people. The same thing would be applied to Iran. The point being that it's not a regime change as an objective for us. It would be to get it to the point where the people can actually get to a place where they can resist the government that they have and pick their own leadership to take the place of that regime.
Yeah, but that's not something you're saying is facilitated by the U.S. So how could you say the U.S. could do something to facilitate that if it's something that can't be done and facilitated by the U.S.?
Oh my God, I'm getting embarrassed for you. Okay,
why are you doing all these ad-homs? What do you mean, I'm getting embarrassed for you?
It's not
this is all just condescending rhetoric. It's not actually engaging intellectually with my points.
It's frustrating. No, it is, because
I ask you a question, and instead of actually responding intellectually to it, you just criticize me as a person.
So let me give you.
You're like, oh my God, you have no clue what you're talking about. What are you doing in this conversation? Right, not even answering my questions. You're just going to be condescending and arrogant. Hey buddy, I'm confused. Is that an intellectual criticism of my question, of anything that I said in the conversation, or is that simply you just trying to deem that I'm quote unquote less credible to the audience?
It's probably a mixture of both, because I don't see you as being partaking in this conversation genuinely, because you haven't.
I am. I asked you a basic question. Do you even remember my question now? Do you remember my question?
Yeah. So you were asking specific. Yeah, so you were asking specifically, if it's not regime change as an end goal, how would we actually help the Iranian people facilitate that, or why would that be the case? I explained to you my example of allowing them to have their own leadership, lead their own resistance, capture the rest of the way. The way that we aid them in doing that is actually taking out the key elements of the IRGC, removing people that are in power, turning people inside the regime.
Watch this.
Would be to get it to the point where the people can actually get to a place where they can resist the government that they have and pick their own leadership to take the place of that regime.
Yeah, but that's not something you're saying is facilitated by the U.S. So how could you say the U.S. could do something to facilitate that if it's something?
I'm literally just trying to answer that for you, and you just cut off with playing the record.
Yeah. So again, I asked you a very specific question. You said that the U.S. could not facilitate it. It has to be done by the people themselves. So I asked you, what could the U.S. do that could facilitate it if it is not something that could be facilitated by the U.S.?
For you. And I was literally just in the middle of answering that question, and you muted me to play that.
I don't think you phrased it in the way that I phrased it.
So again, the way that the U.S. would help facilitate that is striking the regime, to continue to bomb infrastructure that they would be utilizing, to actually assist them from the air, to take out, to cause confusion and panic within inside of the IRGC and within their government, to actually cause like people like Peveshkian to sit there and say things that are somewhat oppositional to what the government's saying, to expose the radical actors and get the people that are logically thinking get frustrated to the point that they turn on each other, giving the people on the ground the best opportunity to actually counter the regime. The whole point is supporting them from afar, not getting your boots on the ground and actually and engaging in a long-term conflict of nation building, not going in there and putting in a puppet leadership. It's leaving it to the people, which is what they're doing right now, which is, I think, it's the best strategy that we could potentially have for this region. That's my point.
So you literally just think bombing them. That's it. That's
no,
all we should just be doing. You don't believe
what
in
else?
you
Hold
don't,
on, wait a second. Repeat to me what I just said to you.
You're specifically,
this.
yeah, you think that a bombing regime specifically will cause confusion and panic, specifically amongst IRGC members, and will allow for the ability for the people themselves to then rise up against the government and to create their own system, right? And it can regime change that way rather than doing it through nation building directly. I understood your argument completely. I just don't think that that's sufficient to be able to establish any type of local or solo revolution, right? The idea that us just bombing them is inevitably going to lead to regime change is such a fucking idealistic argument. Okay.
Would you like me to expand on?
Yeah, if you'd like to expand, I think that's a ridiculous. I think that time will tell that you're going to be completely wrong, right? With every claim that you just made, there's not going to be a complete change in regime simply just because the U.S. decided to bomb them. That is not Donald Trump's objective here. Donald Trump's objective is to establish an agreement like the JCPOA because he wants to throw his own fucking name on it. Okay, that is Donald Trump's objective.
Why he's walking
and
away
I promise
from the
you, we are
MOU
going to
and
have
saying all
conditions
that
that will yield just like that. So you're saying bombing the regime will just yield to the private individuals coming up and rising up.
What did I say beyond bombing the regime,
hold up,
Parker?
Pause. Why hasn't that happened yet? Why haven't we seen the revolution be inspired due to the fact that we're bombing them if we've been doing so since the end of February?
Oh, this is going to be awkward for you. Yeah, so we have, though. We've been seeing elements taking out the IRGC. We've seen the Kurds been doing attacks in the last few weeks. We've seen the Baloch doing attacks, the MEK doing political assassinations. We've seen Basij getting hit at checkpoints, the IRGC getting hit as well. We've seen quite a bit of that. On top of that, we've seen people that are in disagreement with the IRGC publicly come out. I just gave you Peveshkian as one example of it. We've seen that throughout. We've seen confusion coming out of there. We haven't seen the cardboard Ayatollah publicly say anything, not even at his father's funeral. It's interesting that you were framing this way, but what did I specifically say outside of bombing that we would do?
Hold on, all you just said was people got hit and confusion out of there. That's all you just said. What? Your whole argument is, wow, dude, people got hit. Actually, we see a revolution happening. People got hit. Okay, well, yeah, I'm confused. How does that mean that there's going to be some revolution for regime change? That's not entailed at all. Like you just tried to act like you were going to explain complete regime change, and then all you did was say that people got hit and confusion exists. That's it. That's all you said.
The confusion exists, but what else has been existing?
You tell me. You're the one making the argument.
Yeah, 100%. I would love to tell you. Thank you. So when it comes to the actual blockade that we've had on Iran, specifically the hundreds of millions of dollars that they've been losing, they have oil reserves. Those oil reserves have been maxed out. They've been able to get some of it out. But as they continue to do this and we blockade and this conflict goes on, they're going to be in a point where they have to cap the oil wells. And the oil wells being capped is going to cause a few things to happen. One, it could permanently destroy those oil wells. They will have to actually refill them or to repressurize them, which could take 6 months to 3 years to get done. And some of them, like I said, could be offline permanently. This is a big source of revenue for the regime. We've also taken out rail lines that would allow them to reach into Russia via Turkmenistan. That's an aspect that's going to actually slow the process and keep fiscal pressure on them so they can't move even the slow amounts of things that they were in the past before the MOU took place. So when we sit here and we look at this, you have a very interesting thing that's happening. You're having local police officers and commanders and departments within inside of Iran that are actually taking the side of the protesters in some cases. And you also have to remember that you have the actual Iranian army that has been intentionally sidelined since 1979 so that the IRGC can enforce its security state on them. So you have that happening at the same time. Eventually, you're going to see arms find their way into the protesters, which is only going to increase the amount of violence and pressure on the regime. People are going to want to flee the country. They're going to probably be going to places like Russia. And eventually, this is going to cause a complete collapse of the regime and lay the framework for people within that country to actually push through a regime change. All of these things are things that are actually happening and have been happening.
Okay, so you made a huge jump here. This is what I was going to argue against you. You're just saying eventually it will lead to arms and protesters and then complete collapse of the country. Okay, this whole argument is ridiculous. You made huge jumps from like problems that impact the IRGC, such as like impacts on oil reserves, the ability to get oil from Russia, right? Caps on oil wells, permanent damage affecting oil wells, things like that, right? But then you're trying to then say that then means that the complete collapse of the regime will occur. There's no basis for that. You didn't even provide that within your argument. You simply just assumed it based upon some problems that exist amongst the IRGC in the context of a war. And no one claimed that there were no issues for the IRGC or that the US was causing no problems against the IRGC. It's just that the damage against the IRGC is not enough to establish long-term regime change within the region. So this whole engagement in conflict in the very first place is harmful to the US, harmful to consumers here, harmful to US relations around the world, is something that we started in the first place, and is built on too many assumptions for you to actually have any sort of basis to argue this, that we should be sending U.S. service members, right, to die in circumstances where 15 U.S. service members have died, right, plus, right? We can also point to the fact that we've lost billions of dollars on this. It's destabilized relations with other countries, and it's also cost consumers massively in this country by increasing the prices of the inflation within the country. We had 4.2% inflation the month prior to, and 3.5% the last month that we just had. Right. So that's higher inflation than we've seen prior, well more than when Biden left office.
Parker, hang on 1 second. I'm changing a baby. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. Thank you so much for the $10. Thank you very much. Bombing doesn't confuse the IRGC. They live for this. Only people being harmed is the Iranian citizens. The IRGC is fully in control, and they have been rebuilding faster than we thought. Well, thank you so much, Trey. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the $10, as well as Kathy. Thank you for the $50. Thank you very much. Happy Sunday to you as well. Celebrating my birthday today. Happy birthday, Kathy. I hope you have a fantastic birthday. Can we get some happy birthdays for Kathy in the comment section right now? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Kathy. Hope you have a fantastic day yourself. Hope you do. Victor as well. Thank you for the $5. Thank you very much on Venmo. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Give me a second, everybody. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen as always, everybody. Valkyrie, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Get some W's for Valkyrie in the comment section right now. Thank you very much. And Justina, thank you for the $20 to $25. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it is a bit brutal. Cindy, thank you so much for the hand heart. Eli, thank you for the confetti. And again, thank you so much. Justina, I appreciate it. Happy Sunday to you as well. Alrighty. Give a second, everyone. We should be on for around 4.5 hours today. I think Dean said he'll hop on around 3 o'clock.
Hey, I appreciate you bearing with me. Just give me 1 second, man. I'm sorry. Got a dirty diaper here.
It's okay. I'm happy that you're addressing it. A lot of people don't address that. Instead, like, have the conversation and don't address those things. So I appreciate that. We'll give you a minute to address that. Give him a second, everyone. I think I have everything set up for the stream. Give him a minute. Alrighty. Ooh, wait. Some of these people, I want to invite them. Be fun. Wait, a lot of these Trump supporters in the comment section, please accept the request. I'm inviting you. Please, yes. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Who?
You.
I'm 43.
Do you support Trump?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, why do you support Trump?
Well, because I think the Democrats are become a communist party, and I've been saying this for years. I'm actually a liberal. Listen, okay, you can laugh all you want, but I'm gonna tell you something. All you people think it's all about MAGA and it's all about Trump. It's not about MAGA. It's not about Trump. People like me, I'm a registered independent. I can't stand you, and I want to do everything I can to destroy you and your complete bullshit, hateful ideology.
Okay, so I'm not a communist. Okay, so what makes you think that I'm bringing communism to the Democratic Party?
Because your party's communist.
My party is not communist. So you think Kamala Harris is a communist?
Yeah.
Can you define communism?
Do you know what communism is? Get over this.
Yeah, I'm
shit.
asking. Can you define communism?
Yeah, what it is, the Democrat Party's fucking communist. You don't believe in democracy unless you fucking win.
That's actually your side. That was very ironic. You should look into a mirror. That's literally Trump. Trump thinks that 2020 was rigged, but he thinks 2024 was good, and he thinks 2016 was good.
Who are the people that's been throwing the No Kings protests?
Who are the people, like,
because
indivisible?
You fucking lost. You call everything fucking fascist because you fucking lose, and you can't understand that
what?
People don't fucking like you.
No one said fascist because we lose. We say it meets the 14 points of fascism, therefore they're a fascist.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit.
Okay, how is that bullshit? You're the one who just said that Kamala Harris is a communist. So can you define? Wait, hold up, pause. Hey, hush, little baby. Hush, little baby. Can you tell us what communism is?
Dude, I'm a man. I would beat the shit out of you. You know that, right?
Can you tell me what communism is?
You're a little boy. You weigh like 130
You're so
pounds.
emotional, bro. Can you tell me what communism is?
Bro, do your own research.
Would you like a sticker?
Jesus Christ, do your research, dude.
Would you like a sticker? I think these were made just for you.
Boy. You're such a little boy. Your balls ain't even dropped yet.
Okay. Well, let me know when you're done crashing out. It's gonna be okay.
You can't grow a fucking beard.
Okay, you're crashing out. It's okay.
Yeah, you're gay as fuck. Go suck Dean's dick.
Okay, so is this all you got?
Brother, it would just be easier to say it's a classless, stateless society.
Yeah.
Just kind of sound like
and then concede that Kamala Harris isn't a communist. Yeah, like he just got a flag for harassment and bullying. Dude, that person is insane, bro.
But anyway,
you should change that baby's diaper as well. Actually,
I was thinking about it, to be honest with you. There was a little bit of a weird crash out. He does not represent me, but what I would say in response to the things that you were saying, because I was listening to you, and through the tears of the diaper change, I retained some of it. Man, I don't know why. It's like, why would you want to sit in your own? These little kids are an interesting thing.
Go ahead.
Sorry, my little man's getting frustrated. He's wanting my attention. Can we? How about you and I do this another time, and I'll come back.
That's
you
fair.
give me a day that you go live at a time, and I'll do it when I don't have little man with me. So I want to give him my attention.
That's okay. That's okay. Totally appreciate that. Go be with your kid, and when you come back, I'll ask you a question of any time specifically U.S. military drone campaigns have caused regime change.
Drone campaigns cause regime change?
Yeah, like military missile strikes. But yeah, no, that's a question for you to answer next time.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk next time.
All right.
Yeah, if you want to just DM me.
Got you. You can try to, or you could you're welcome to come up a different day. Anytime. I actually appreciate that. I appreciate that he did that.